Okay, we are back now. I did a case in collection mode in the World Edition, case number 30, and I managed to get that done. We're now going to do case 5, Death by Design. Matthew, I can't believe we got to see the festivities for Paris Fashion Week. And now you're sitting front row in the Grand Palais for the Chior Fashion Show. Yeah, and on top of that, we get to go to the after party on a boat on the Seine River. So cool. I've got friends in the States who would kill to be in my place. Hey, keep your voice down. You don't want anyone to get any ideas. Yeah, true. Oh, it's starting. Nice. And now the genius behind Chior, chief designer Charles Pilsnerfeld. Wow, those looks were incredible. And Noémie Le Prince looks fantastic in that dress. Indeed. Hey Matthew, let's head to the after party at La Vienne Rose before everyone drinks all the champagne. This is going to be so cool. I've never been to a party on a boat before. There are lots of boats like this in Paris, with bars and restaurants on them. In French, we call it a péniche. I think if you told an American you were going to a péniche party, you'd have to clarify what you mean. Haha, you're right. It's a bit of a double entendre. Yes, it's no wonder the phrase double entendre is French. Sexuality here seems heightened compared to the United States. I've been meaning to ask how you've adjusted to that. The sexual energy here in Paris can be a bit strong sometimes. I hope it's not too overwhelming. No, on the contrary, it just feels like people are more open about their feelings. It's a welcome change. That's good to hear. Oh, here comes the Chior CEO, Simon Lemaitre. It must be time to go inside. Senior Trooper Matthew, it's horrible. Charles is in the péniche, and I think he is dead. What? What happened? I don't know. I just arrived. But the sight of his body made me feel faint. I left as fast as I could. We will take care of this, Madame Lemaitre. Matthew, let's head inside and see what's going on. As you can see, I have gone under 100 for the +5 hints. I was above 100 the last time I did this. Got the first star. Wow, Matthew, it looks like Monsieur Pilsnerfeld drowned. His jacket is torn in the back, but Madame Lemaitre told us she was too scared to touch him. So that terror must have come from him struggling against someone holding him down. This drowning was unquestionably murder. Wow, another murder case so soon. I still got a pile of paperwork to file on the last one Matthew and I solved. Don't worry, Carrie. Matthew and I can handle this case, and at least you got to see the boat from the inside. Pretty swanky place, eh? Definitely. I guess I'll just have to wait longer to have my first paniche party, Matthew. I'll see you back at the station. As the French say, bon courage. Okay, back to business. What other clues do we have? It's actually bon voyage, Carrie. These plastic pieces you found look like a broken CD. It takes some effort to break a CD. Whoever did it must have been trying to hide something, which indicates it could be from our killer. Let's reassemble it. And we'll need to question Madame Lemaitre further. Paris Fashion Week is certainly ending with a bang. Party mix for Pilsnerfeld. Matthew, the label on the CD says Party mix for Pilsnerfeld. And its letters cut out of a magazine, as if to hide their handwriting. This has to be from our killer. Let's get this to Emile for examination. Three hours, and I need to get started, so sit tight, everybody. Alright, I got myself 7 stars, so let's talk to Simone Lemaitre. Madame Lemaitre, when exactly did you arrive at the Peniche? I'm sorry, I'm still very shaken. I arrived just before you. When I entered, there was no one, except Charles, and when I ran out, you were there. I know I should have reacted differently. I might have tried to help him, but I was horrified. Is there anyone you might suspect of having done this to Monsieur Pilsnerfeld? No, Charles was beloved by all. Even his competitors begrudgingly respected him because he was so ahead of his time. Now you'll have to excuse me. I need to go compose myself. Sure, Madame Lemaitre. We'll call you if we need anything else. Now, Matthew, while we're here, let's see what clues we can find here on the quay. So, Matthew, is there anything here that could give us leads on Pilsnerfeld's murder suspects? Ah, this napkin you found was custom printed for the after party. That means whoever left these crumbs on this napkin must have been here before the party, at the time of the murder. Let's collect a sample of the crumbs for testing. And this bag you found has CP on it. Those are the victim's initials. This is his bag. There could be something helpful in it. Let's see what we can find. Superb, Matthew. Let's look at these crumbs you collected from the after-party napkin under the microscope. La Puree Eclairs. Matthew, these crumbs you collected from the after-party napkin are from a La Puree Eclair. I remember hearing that Pilsnerfeld used La Puree Eclairs to bribe Noemi Le Prince into modeling that beautiful dress we saw on the show. Supermodels can't eat a whole box of eclairs at once, so these crumbs must be from one Noemi had left over. That means we should see what Noemi might know about the murder. Before we go to her, Matthew, does my hair look good? How about my skin? Is it slightly glowy, but not too shiny? How is my breath? Yes, I'm sorry. Back to business. Let's go speak with Noemi. Noemi, you don't mind if I call you Noemi? Not at all, as long as I can call you Hugo. Of course you can. It's a pleasure to see you again. I wish the circumstances weren't so morbid. Charles Pilsnerfeld was drowned to death earlier tonight at the La Vienne Rose, Peniche. We're investigating his murder. Charles is dead? Yes, and we remember how we used to use your weakness for La Puree Eclairs to get you to model in the show. We actually found crumbs from one of those eclairs near the crime scene. While you were there, did you notice anything suspicious? Oh, I must have left those crumbs earlier today when I went to the Peniche to discuss my contract with Charles before the show. But that was this afternoon, and it didn't seem like anything was wrong. He was just amping up for tonight. Life is even more fleeting than the season's style, Senior Trooper Matthew. The world has lost an artistic genius. Hold on, I gotta try this again. Okay, let's try this again. jar with the faded label. It's full of buttons. Matthew, the only thing of any interest in the victim's bag is this jar of buttons. There is a faded note on it, but do you really think a jar of buttons is important to a murder case? You're right. After all we've seen during Fashion Week, I should know that anything is possible. Let's recover the text on that note. From JB. The note on that jar of buttons you found in the victim's bag says, "These just don't work, Charles. Trust me, JB." That's true, Matthew. It doesn't sound malicious, but we know the fashion world can be a little passive-aggressive at times. And it appears that Gior's lead stylist is named Jeremy Bellholm. That's got to be the JB who wrote this note. Let's have a word with Monsieur Bellholm. Or is it Jeremy? It's either Jeremy or Jeremy. Jeremy Bellholm, I'll try that. Monsieur Bellholm, you are the stylist for Charles Pilsnerfeld, are you not? Yes, I am. Did you not like what you saw at the show? The show was wonderful. It's what we saw after the show that troubles us. You see, Charles was murdered. Murdered? Wow, what a way to go out. And after just revealing the collection he said was the pinnacle of his career. We found a note you left, disagreeing about some buttons. Did tensions ever run high between the two of you? Of course we disagreed, all the time. But if you think I'd murder someone over buttons, you're crazy. And I'm the stylist. I was simply too busy to pull a fashion show together and sneak out to murder its chief designer at the same time. C'est impossible. That's fair. If you do think of anything that might help the case, please let us know. And I'll see you guys when these two are finished. See y'all soon. Okay, we are back now, and let's get the results of the autopsy. It's really too bad about the Chiora after party being cancelled. I gotten a new set of platform stilettos I wanted to show off. And what a turn of events, Matthew. Charles Pilsnerfeld murdered just before his own after party. Yes, it's hard to speculate on the killer's motivation for committing the murder after the Chiora fashion show, but before the after party. Clearly their aim wasn't to thwart the show itself, but maybe they were trying to send a message. It's hard to say. I didn't find anything that speaks to the motive for the murder, but I did find something that might help. There was residue on the tear in Pilsnerfeld's jacket, where the killer gripped it to hold him down. That residue turned out to be sauce from cooked escargots. So we know your killer popped a couple of snails before committing the act. Well, unfortunately for our killer, Matthew here works much faster than a snail's pace. And now the Party Mix CD. Emil, did you figure out what's on the Party Mix CD Matthew found where Pilsnerfeld was murdered? I did, actually, but it wasn't easy. I had to use a special sequencing algorithm I developed to smooth over the breaks in data caused by the cracks in the CD. The CD had one song on it, repeated 13 times, Drowning in Beats, by the French house music group Voyou Fou. Pardon? Drowning in what? Oh, you mean beats in English, like rhythm. You know, that's not the first phallic double entendre I've heard tonight. Yes, it would be a very difficult song if it meant the other thing. The reference to drowning definitely fits the murder. And the CD's label is like a ransom note. This is definitely our killer's work. Exactement. And the song is not one of Feuillefu's top hits, so you can note that the killer is a fan. Well, Matthew, pretty soon the killer is going to be listening to big house music. Well, this is quite the big finish to Paris Fashion Week, though not quite the one I was expecting. We saw the Chior fashion show, then headed to a fancy after party on a peniche, only to find Chior's chief designer murdered. Chior CEO Simone Lemaitre was the one who found the body, and I've never seen her so shaken. And Chior's stylist claims he was too busy at the fashion show to be a helpful witness to anything, let alone commit the murder himself. Noemi Le Prince came here earlier today to discuss her Chior modeling contract, but how can such a pretty face do something so violent? It'll take some more work to lift the veil of mystery from this murder. Matthew, did you hear that splash outside? Oh, secours. Someone's calling for help. I think they just fell into the river. We're going to have to find out who that is in Chapter 2. Don't go anywhere. We've returned. Let's start Chapter 2 of Death by Design. We last left off with a splash and someone in the river. Mon Dieu, Matthew! That's Jean-Philippe in the river! Jean-Philippe, grab this life preserver and hold on tight! Matthew, let's pull! Oof. Thank you for your help, Matthew. Jean-Philippe, what on earth were you doing in the Seine River? I had a little aperitif to warm up for the Chior after party, and it appears I missed the boat. Yes, you've missed the boat in more ways than one, I'm afraid. The party's cancelled due to murder. Well, as every bad thing comes with some good, you and Matthew are on the case. I'd better get back to the station and into some dry clothes, as you were, Matthew. That's Jean-Philippe. Chief tries to tell him to slow down, but he just doesn't listen. Good thing we were here to help him. Well, I think we've exhausted our options here for now, so let's go back to the Grand Palais, where the Chior show took place, to search for leads there. To get the first star. Wow, Matthew, this is quite an ominous clue. This poster says Chior J'abhore, meaning I abhor Chior. If they hate Chior, that means they hated Charles Pilsnerfeld's work. So who is this threatening person disguised with makeup? You're right. I'll bet we could identify them with our system, even despite the makeup. Let's give it a shot. And this broken mirror looks like it has something written on it. Let's put it back together and see what it says. That's true, Matthew. We saw everyone take their Chiora gift bags from the show. What's this one still doing here? Let's take a peek inside to see if there's anything important. Got it. Curious, Matthew. This magazine wasn't in the gift bags that we got. Wait, there are letters cut out of the pages in this magazine. You're right. This is probably the magazine the killer used to make the label on the CD we found. Let's get this magazine to Jean-Philippe for inspection. Hopefully he's cleaned off and gotten into some dry clothes after his fall into the Seine. Ugh. Gianni Domani. Matthew, the made-up man on that poster is Gianni Domani. Well, you met Gianni before, during the case of the murdered fashion journalist. It's no question that the victim and Gianni were industry competitors, but in light of the murder, this poster has a dangerous tone. Let's see what Gianni has to say about it. Monsieur Domani, care to explain the strongly worded poster review we found at the Chiora show? Of course, Chiora is a fat, stuffy, suffocating weight on the fashion industry, and it must be stopped. Speaking of suffocation, Charles Pilserfeld was drowned earlier tonight. What can you tell us about that? Drowned? Well, the unsinkable Chiora is finally sunk. Good riddance. It was murder, Monsieur Domani. And you should know that your little act of self-expression here makes you a suspect. Honey, if you think I had to literally kill the competition to get ahead in this industry, you're sleepwalking. I'm actually disappointed to know the after party is cancelled. I was planning on crashing it and stealing some Chiora-bought escargots. Oh. Matthew, the message on the mirror says, CP, break my contract or I'll break you. It's signed by Noemi, and it's clearly about the contract she just signed with Pilserfeld. CP is in the message. But why does she suddenly turn so violently against Pilserfeld right after signing? I hope she's not our killer, Matthew. I wanted to ask her out when this wraps up. In any case, we've got to talk to Noemi about this. Noemi, why would you sign a contract with Charles and then threaten to break him if he didn't cancel it? Because he lied to me. He told me the modeling contract was only for tonight's show, as a favor to him. But it wasn't only for tonight's show? No, it was a contract for me to model exclusively for Chior. Charles had me all buttered up with those eclairs, so of course I felt I owed him that favor. But later I realized the contract was exclusive, so now I'm trapped in a modeling contract with a brand whose chief designer just died. So why didn't you mention this deception when we spoke before? Because you think I killed him. But you know as well as I do, once that contract was signed, murder would have been career suicide. Now I have to go home and listen to some Vuyu Fu at full volume to calm down. I'll see you guys when the magazine is done. See y'all soon. We've returned now. Let's get the results of the magazine. Merci encore for saving me. Gautier tells me I should take it easy on the pre-party aperitifs. He's probably right. I should at least wait until I'm among friends to make a complete fool of myself. We're just glad you're safe. Did you have a chance to look at the magazine Matthew and I found in the Chior gift bag? Yes, and the places where the letters were cut out are perfect matches for the cutout letters on the CD you found. Genial! So it is the Killer's magazine. What else can you tell us? Well, the magazine is Le Gauche, which is distributed to Parisians who live on the Rive Gauche, or left bank. Ah, the bohemian countercultural side of Paris, south of the Seine. Tout à fait. So from this, it is clear that your killer lives on the left bank. Our killer may live on the left side of the Seine River, but they're also on the wrong side of the law. And speaking of the river, let's head back to the Peniche to take another look around. Matthew, I'd recognize that wall-eyed cat anywhere. This is the victim's phone. There could be helpful information on it. We'll get it unlocked to see. And is that an invitation to the Chior after party? It's not one of ours, so it means someone else was here. The name is rubbed off. Let's recover it. Parfait, Matthew. Now I'll send the victim's phone to Emile to see what he can find. The name of this invitation is Howard Stacy. That's right. You met him when investigating the fashion journalist who got shot. Stacy is the CEO of Stacy's department stores. Looks like we weren't the only ones to arrive early for the after party. Let's ask Howard some questions. Senior Trooper Matthew, it is a pleasure to see you again. I hope you're well. We're doing just fine, thanks. Charles Pilsnerfeld, however, could be doing better. Someone killed him earlier tonight. He was murdered? What a terrible tragedy. My heart goes out to his family as well as all associated with the Chior brand. I'll have to arrange to send his employees some Stacy's gift baskets to communicate my condolences. We found your invitation to the after party outside the Peniche, which is where he was killed. Had you seen Charles or anyone else there? Anything suspicious at all? I saw Charles, but he was alone. I wasn't there very long. I couldn't attend the party, but I have a pied-à-terre on the left bank, so I stopped by on my way home to congratulate Charles on a wonderful show. I wish I had stayed longer. Maybe I could have prevented his death. And we'll see you guys when the phone has run its course. See y'all soon. Okay, we've returned. Let's get the results of the unlocked phone. Oh, Matthew, this silly cat has a face only her father could love. Too true. I'm sure that phone is full of Chouquette photos. As a matter of fact, it is. But there was something else it was full of that is far more interesting to your case. Charles made 23 outgoing calls shortly after the fashion show ended, all to Jeremy Bellum, and all of them went unanswered. Très bizarre. Why was Charles so desperate to talk to his stylist if the fashion show was already over? Matthew, let's see if Jeremy can enlighten us. Monsieur Bellum, I don't know if you've checked your phone tonight, but you got 23 missed calls from your late boss. Do you know what he was so urgently trying to communicate? He wanted me to come back to the Peniche. You mean where he was murdered? Yes, he had invited me to join him before people showed up for the after party. I thought he wanted to discuss next year's line. But the dirty old man made a pass at me, tried to grab my butt and pull my shirt off. I slapped him and told him his behavior was unacceptable and that I'd report him. Then I left. I didn't see the missed calls until I had gotten home on the left bank, and I wasn't about to call him back. We hope the encounter went exactly as you described, because if you killed him instead of reporting it, you'll be getting more than a scolding yourself. Well, Matthew, the pieces of this drowned designer's murder are starting to stitch together. It's no surprise that Gianni Domani has had strong feelings about his competition, but whether that led to murder, we don't yet know. We found out that Noemi LaPrince's modeling contract was signed under false pretenses, and she threatened the victim to get it nullified. And apparently the victim crossed the line with Jeremy, but we only have his word to go on. For now, Howard seems harmless, but he was alone with the victim before the murder, so we can't rule him out. Matthew, I need your help. I can't find Chouquette anywhere. And I'll see you guys for Chapter 3. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we've returned. Let's start Chapter 3 of Death by Design. We last left off with Jeremy wondering where Charles Pilsenfeld's cat is, Choquette. This is it. Matthew, I can't find Choquette anywhere. I last saw her at the Grand Palais during the show, and I assumed Charles would have brought her here to the Peniche, but she's not here. Well, Senior Trooper Matthew and I are due for another sweep for clues at the Grand Palais, so we can keep an eye out for Choquette while you search here. Yes, that is wonderful. Thank you. Let's head back to the Grand Palais, Matthew. Grand Palais? I don't know. I'm not very good with French. Got it. But I highly doubt I'm going to get the star. Oh, well, I guess so. Well, Matthew, no sign of Choquette here. We'd be sure to see her. That face is hard to miss. Maybe Jeremy has found her at the Peniche in the meantime. Speaking of the Peniche, look at this. It's a model of La Vienne Rose, the Peniche where the after party was supposed to happen. But why is there a lock on it? We'll definitely have to crack the lock and see what's inside this thing. And look at these things. You say they're called water wings? In French, they're called brassards, like armbands in military uniforms. But you're right, the English term water wings seems more fun. I can't see why someone would bring water wings to the fashion show, but they definitely connect strongly to the fact that Pilsenfeld was drowned. There is a tag attached to them, with something written on it. We'll have to recover the text. And what are these broken metal pieces? Let's put them back together to find out. Matthew, there's a screen inside this model of the After Party Peniche. Looks like it's supposed to play a video, but an error is stopping it. Emil should be able to fix it and show us what's on that video. Matthew, this is a metal stamp monogram for Chior, but it looks nothing like their official logo. Was Chior about to do a rebranding? And why is there an SL behind the logo? Mais oui, you're right, Matthew. SL are Chior CEO Simone Lemaitre's initials. Does that mean she is the one orchestrating this change? Let's see what Madame Lemaitre can tell us about this. Madame Lemaitre, we found this alternate version of the Chior logo. Was there a rebranding in store for the company? Yes, and the rebranding was long overdue. The whole fashion world will be reeling from Charles' death, but they have no idea what little impact it will have on Chior. What do you mean? He was a fashion designer icon. He was, yes, but eventually he lost steam in his designs. I began collaborating with him, and eventually I became Chior's sole designer. For the past few years, that oaf's only contribution to Chior was writing his signature on my designs and showing up to the events to smile and wave. But I was the one who matched the looks in Chior's new line to the Voyou Fou songs in the fashion show. My work paid for the escargots at the after party, and I was the one who arranged for my neighborhood traiteur in the left bank to supply those escargots. I decided it was time to take ownership of what's rightfully mine, so I prepared to launch a revision of the brand, Chior by Simone Lemaitre. If you kill Charles, you'll need a revision of your life, Madame Lemaitre. On these water wings says Stacy's can help you stay afloat. You're right, there's no question that this note was trying to convince Pilsnerfeld to do business with Stacy's. That means these water wings are from Howard Stacy. Let's go talk to Howard about this. Monsieur Stacy, given the way Charles was killed, this gift of yours looks like a pretty sick joke. Yes, it's a horrible coincidence, but I had no idea someone would drown the poor man. That gift is merely a symbol of how my brand could support his brand. Did he feel Chior needed support? He told me he was against the collaboration, but I felt he could be persuaded. And at this point, I am too in love with French culture to give up on bringing Stacy's to France. Now I swoon at the sight of a plate of escargots. My music playlists are full of Voyou Fou. I'm hooked. All it would take is more pressure on Pilsnerfeld, and he'd eventually crack and sign on with Stacy's. I hope for your sake it wasn't your extra pressure that wound up killing him. And I'll see you guys when the open model Paniche has run its course. Okay, we're back. Let's get the results of the open model Paniche. Matthew, I used to make model boats as a kid, and I have to say, this Paniche you found is impressive. Yeah, did you ever put a screen in one of your models? No, but I did install a crystal radio in one. It was a sailboat, and I turned the mast into the antenna. But I also never use my models to invite people to parties. What do you mean? Here, watch this. After you've taken in the latest innovations at the Domani Fashion Show, I, Gianni Domani, invite you to put on your rose-colored glasses and preparez-vous for a lavish evening in La Vienne Rose. enjoy a cocktail tailor-made for the soiree celebration, the Giantini. I'll see you there, beauties. I see what you mean, Emil. This model paniche was a super fancy invitation to the Domani fashion show after party. Yes, but I'm not sure how that party could happen on the same paniche as the Chior after party. I agree, Matthew. We should see if Gianni can sort this out. Monsieur Domani, is it true that you had planned to have your fashion show after party on the La Vie en Rose paniche? Yes, but before I could sign the reservation papers, that snake Pilsnerfeld offered to pay the owners double to have the Chior party there instead. I didn't have enough money to match his offer because I spent the rest of my after party budget making 40 model boats for VIP invitations. Wow, you made 40 of those boats? You must have been angry with when your reservation fell through. I was furious, Senior Trooper Matthew. The whole point of having the after party on the paniche was to reveal my new secret line of rose-colored swimwear. I needed the paniche with rose in its name, and my hired model to show off the swimwear in the pool during the party. And Voyou Fu was going to play a live set. They were my neighbors when they still lived on the left bank. Everything was in order except the most important part, that boat, and Pilsnerfeld ruined everything. We understand your frustration, but it sounds like you sold the bear's skin before you killed the bear. And if you're Pilsnerfeld's killer, you won't even have clothes to sell. Matthew, the gloves are off among our suspects in Charles Pilsnerfeld's murder by drowning. Gianni had planned everything for his fashion show after party around the location of the La Vie en Rose paniche. But Pilsnerfeld snagged the location right out from under him, ruining all of his plans. And apparently the Chior CEO has been doing all the design work instead of Pilsnerfeld. And she expects to eventually take complete control of the company. Of course, that's easier said than done. I can't imagine that Pilsnerfeld would leave his fashion throne quietly. And how would Stacy try to convince Pilsnerfeld into a partnership with Stacy's? From what we've seen, none of Stacy's deals have ended well. Maybe he reached the end of his rope with this one. I agree, Matthew. We should search the crime scene for more clues and finish threading our way through this case. And it didn't work. Wow, Matthew, that jewel-encrusted cat food dish is hard to miss. Pilsnerfeld's cat Chouquette is certainly spoiled. What are these colored pieces caught in the jewels? They might have been left by our killer. Let's collect a sample. And the killer could have hidden something in this big crate of pool equipment. We should search through it. We're close to catching the killer, Matthew. Got it. Parfait, Matthew. Now we can send the sample you took of the colored pieces from Chouquette's dish to the lab for closer examination. Got it. A napkin. Or a damn towel, rather. Well, Matthew, since the after party was canceled, we know nobody swam in the pool, except, of course, when our killer dunked Pilzerfeld's head in to drown him. But that means that this damn towel you found in the crate of pool equipment is highly suspicious. I'll bet our killer used it to dry themselves off, which explains why they try to hide it with the others in the crate. Enzo's keen eyes will catch any traces our killer left on this towel. And we'll see you guys when these two have run their courses. See y'all soon. Okay, we've returned now, and let's get the results of colored bits. Enzo, what were those colored bits of plastic Matthew found on Chouquette's dish? Well, Matthew, it's a type of plastic used in 3D printers. Interessant, but people can 3D print anything nowadays. How do we know what object these bits are actually from? Well, this stuff is pretty new on the market, made from 100% recycled plastic. I found an article about how Chior handed out brooches made of this material at their show. So the killer must have been wearing one of those Chior brooches and scraped it on Chouquette's dish while they struggled with Pilzerfeld. How do you know it's specifically the killer's brooch that rubbed on the bowl? Because there was also some escargot residue on the plastic. So Matthew, pin the pin and you'll pin your killer. We're getting closer, Matthew. Thankfully our killer's not too sharp. It's a bummer the after party was canceled. I wouldn't have minded going swimming with a bunch of models. But speaking of swimming, Matthew, good eye picking up this damp towel from the crime scene. Well, I wouldn't have spotted it since it was hidden with a bunch of other pool stuff, but by the sound of it, the towel is helpful to the case. You already know that the victim was drowned and left dripping wet on the floor. Yes, so the towel got wet when the killer used it to dry themselves off and make their getaway after the murder. Exactement. And stuck in the fibers of the towel were other fibers from the killer's clothing. They were colored a specific hue called cardinal red. So I can tell you for sure that your killer wears cardinal red. Matthew, soon our killer will be charged for their cardinal sin. Matthew, we finally gathered enough patches to sew this case shut. Let's arrest Charles Pilgerfeld's killer. Let's arrest the killer. I believe we just found her. And my perfect streak continues. Simone Lemaitre, you're under arrest for the murder of Charles Pilgerfeld. You think I murdered Charles? Why on earth would I do that? I may be doing all the design work at Chior, but killing a fashion figurehead like Charles is a good way to run a stiletto through the heart of our brand. But we know you were planning to take over Chior, and you were going to add your initials to the logo. That definitely implies that you have replaced him as the figurehead of the brand. And I'm sure Pilgerfeld wouldn't have gone without a fight, which explains why you had to get him out of the way. I didn't kill Charles to get him out of the way. I did it to get what was promised to me. He promised you the company. He promised me everything. He knew I was doing all the work. And he admitted that after spending so much time on Chior's evolution, I had a better eye for what Chior was and where it should be going. So we agreed that in the event of his death, I would obtain complete control of Chior in every capacity. And you killed him to trigger your inheritance of the company. A will is not a free ticket to murder. I had to kill Charles, or that damn cat was going to steal my rightful inheritance. I'm sorry, but did you say cat and steal your inheritance? Yes, Charles was fickle, and when he saw the Chior logo I designed with my initials, he decided he didn't want me in his will anymore. He said he would revise it so that Chouquette would inherit everything. Have you ever heard anything so absurd? A cat inheriting a fashion brand? So of course I had to kill him while the will still said everything will be mine. Chior is my empire. Matthew, in light of these events, I hope Jeremy eventually found Chouquette. Chouquette is missing. Ha! Looks like that cat won't be inheriting anything either. For the moment, your capture was the most important of the two. Madame Lemaitre, you're under arrest. Simone Lemaitre, you are charged with the murder of Charles Pilgerfeld. How do you plead? Guilty, Your Honor, but it was only to keep the entire Chior Empire from going to that wall-eyed feline. You must know that murdering someone renders you ineligible to any inheritance from them. Clearly, I wasn't planning on getting caught, Your Honor. Yet here we are. You should also know that Monsieur Pilgerfeld's will revision was finalized before you murdered him. All company assets are now to be transferred to Chouquette. But you're losing much more than that, I'm afraid. I sentence you to 35 years in prison. Well, we'll just have to see how Chior fares after 35 years under the ownership of a cat. Wow, Matthew, this case took a strange turn at the end. Yes, the CEO of the company drowned the chief designer to keep the cat from inheriting everything. And now the CEO is in prison and the cat has actually inherited everything. It's kind of funny, really, except the murder part, of course. Well, I just got a call from Monsieur Bellhomme. He said Chouquette is still missing. That's not good, Matthew. Our next task is to find that cat. I'll see you guys for an American Cop in Paris 5-5, the final one there. Okay, we have returned. Let's start an American Cop in Paris 5-5. This is the last one here. Well, Matthew, I didn't know a cat could inherit a fashion empire. Honestly, I don't condone violence, but I understand Simone Lemaitre's anger in reaction to Pilserfeld changing his will. Yes, I'm sure she didn't see that coming. To be fair, who would have? And speaking of that cat, Monsieur Bellhomme just called. He said Chouquette's still missing. Well, we've already got a suspect at the top of our list of possible catnappers. We've got to ask Simone about this. Matthew, I'd like your help with something when you've got time. Sure, Carrie. We'll grill Simone about the cat, and Matthew can come see you. Let's go, Matthew. Madame Lemaitre, where is Chouquette? I am in prison. How do you expect me to know the whereabouts of that ridiculous animal? Well, she went missing before you were arrested. You must understand our strong suspicions that if she was kidnapped, it was your doing. Yes, but while I was aware of the changes Charles meant to make to his will, I was not aware that the changes had already been made. Had I known that he succeeded in signing his estate and the company over to that creature, what would be the point of killing him? That is some cold logic, but you do have a point. I can tell you that the last I saw of Chouquette, she was whining for food at the fashion show. Yes, that's where Monsieur Bellhomme said he last saw her as well. Good luck finding her, Senior Trooper Matthew. That cat is worth a fortune now. Senior Trooper Matthew, the Grand Palais is our next stop. Maybe by the time the next case comes around, I could be looking at upgrading to level 500, I think. Cat food baggie. Bien vu, Matthew. Good eye. That's Chouquette's cat food. Whenever the kidnapper took Chouquette, they must have taken some of her food too to keep her quiet. Let's collect a sample from the bag to see if they left behind any traces. Great, Matthew. Now let's get this sample from Chouquette's food bag to the lab for testing. Matthew, I hope to see my brother Cody at the Chior fashion show, but he wasn't there. Later, though, I got a text message from an unknown number. The message said, La Vienne Rose. I put the number into the database, but it belongs to a prepaid phone, so I got no other info from it. La Vienne Rose is the name of the peniche where the after party would have been, and since Eleonora told us Cody was at the dress rehearsal for the show, I'm sure he knew about the after party. I believe the message was from Cody, trying to tell me to meet him at the peniche. Now, it's true that I don't know what kind of stuff he's been mixed up in all these years. Matthew, it would be a good idea for me to have backup when I go to see him. I'd like you to come with me. Now let's head to the La Vienne Rose. Got snow globe. So Matthew, here we are at the Peniche of La Vienne Rose, but I don't see anyone else around. What is that you found? A snow globe? I'm not surprised. This is a touristy part of town. What's in it? An Eiffel Tower or something? Oh, it's a Statue of Liberty, and that's the New York skyline behind it. That's definitely not from around here. Matthew, this snow globe must be a clue from Cody. And it looks like there's something etched into the globe. Let's recover the text. We'll always have Paris. The text etched into the snow globe says, we'll always have Paris. Hey, that's a line from Casablanca. Growing up, Casablanca was one of our favorite movies. Matthew, this is definitely a clue from Cody. We know he's in Paris, hence the reference to meeting in Paris, but why the Statue of Liberty? I know the Statue of Liberty was a gift from the French to the United States, celebrating freedom and democracy after the American Civil War, but I don't think that helps us here. We'll have to consult someone on the team with historical expertise, probably Jean-Philippe. And I'll see you guys when these two are done. Do not go anywhere. We have returned, and let's get the results of the cat food sample first. Enzo, did you find anything unusual in the sample Matthew took from Chouquette's food bag? Anything that might point to her catnapper? Yes, actually. There was a residue of ground up sleeping pills mixed with the cat food. Sleeping pills? That sounds like something our catnapper would use. The next question is, did the catnapper leave behind any other traces of themselves when they ground up the pills and mixed them with the food? Actually, they did. I found traces of micellar water soaked into the powdered sleeping pills. Micellar water is commonly used to remove makeup, so my guess is that it came from one of the models. One of the models? Oh no, Matthew, do you think Noemi kidnapped Chouquette as revenge because Pilsenfeld trapped her in that exclusive contract? I suppose the only way to find out is to ask Noemi. I sure hope she's innocent. I was looking forward to asking her out when we wrapped up this case. Noemi, Chouquette has gone missing, and we are tasked with finding her. Now, we don't believe you had any malicious intentions towards the cat, but we did find some of your makeup remover and some sleeping pills mixed into her food. Oh yes, I put the sleeping pills in her food, but I didn't kidnap her. The loud music and flashing lights at the fashion show made her very anxious, and Charles was distracted by his work, so I gave her a little something to relax. But Charles took her to the Peniche after the show. She must still be there. Jeremy said he looked all over the Peniche and couldn't find her anywhere. I'll let you in on a little secret, Senior Trooper Matthew. Jeremy is good at one thing and one thing only, styling. I bet he walked right by Chouquette without even noticing she was there. Okay, thank you for your help, Noemi. Matthew, let's take another look around the Peniche. And let's get something to eat on the way. There we go. Matthew, there's the cat carrier, and Chouquette is inside. Can you get the lock open? Formidable, Matthew. You got the carrier open, and it looks like Chouquette is doing just fine. Well, we should probably notify Jeremy so he doesn't wind up looking all over Paris for her. Senior Trooper Matthew, you found Chouquette. What a relief. Yes, now Chouquette can get started learning the ropes of running a fashion brand. True, there is a small matter of deciding how to proceed from here. But the Chior Board of Directors is considering me for Chief Designer. I'm so excited. Fantastic news. Congratulations. And now I'm curious, what's happening to Chouquette? Charles's assistants will come to pick her up very soon. Don't worry, she'll be in good hands. And as a thank you for finding Chouquette, Senior Trooper Matthew, here's a Chior brooch. It's a limited edition for VIPs, and it was the last thing to be designed by Charles. Jean-Philippe, what can you tell us about the snow globe Matthew found at the Peniche? It's a message from my brother, right? I'm inclined to say yes, but I can't say for sure. The reference to a movie you both love and your country of origin are both strong indicators that it's from your brother. The problem is, it doesn't give me any further information. Well, I wouldn't write it off so quickly. He already sent you one message indicating a meeting point, correct? Yes, the name of the Peniche, where we found the snow globe. So now we have to go to New York and visit the Statue of Liberty? Not at all. There is a smaller version of the Statue of Liberty here in Paris, at Pont de Grenelle, further downriver from the Peniche, in fact. Oh wow, that means the snow globe is another message telling me where to meet him. Matthew, I can't believe I'm about to see my brother for the first time in 11 years. Come on, Matthew, let's go find my brother. Cody, is that you? Carrie? Oh wow, it's been forever. Aha. I can't believe you're here, sis. Of course I'm here. I spent all these years worrying about you. When I got your postcard telling me not to come looking for you, I knew I had to. I knew you were too inquisitive to follow that order, and you clearly caught my clue about rats and pigeons, because you tracked me right to Macaron. Yes, and Senior Trooper Matthew and I know enough about Macaron to know he's bad news. What are you mixed up in, Cody? I'm in over my head with Macaron's gang, Carrie, and I need you to help me and Eleonora get out. Are you and Eleonora together? Yes, but we shouldn't talk too much here. I already feel better knowing we're in touch. Okay, I understand. Cody, it's so good to see you. I love you. Love you too, sis. Senior Trooper Matthew, I'll signal you and Carrie when the time is right. In the meantime, keep your head on a swivel, and here's a little donation for the department. Matthew, I can't believe we found my brother after all these years. Last I saw him, he was 15 years old. He's so grown up now. And he's in some real grown-up trouble, getting wrapped up in Macaron's dealings. Yes, the second you hear anything from him, Matthew, you jump on it. Definitely, we've got to help Cody, and he could be our key to finally taking Macaron down. Yes, but you've also got to be careful, Matthew. Cody's been here working with Macaron for a while. We've got to make sure him getting in touch with you isn't one of Macaron's schemes. And speaking of harm's way, Matthew, we just got an anonymous tip about an animal smuggling ring at the Popotin Rouge in Montmartre. Oh, I've always wanted to go to the Popotin Rouge. I can't wait. I think we're probably going to have to wait a couple more weeks. Well, I unlocked a new district. Attraction. August 20th, that's 10 days from now. Okay, that'll do. And I'll see you guys on August 20th. So for now, this is Matthew. Thank you for watching.